Hi everyone, we are here in chilly but sunny Stockholm, and with me is Pia Gisgård, the head of sustainability at Swedbank Robur. We are going to have a little walk in a park and then discuss the role of sustainability at Swedbank, how it is a core and integral feature of Swedbank's investment philosophy. And maybe we'll touch upon the more spicy and controversial topics about the role of defense, the role of nuclear, how in Swedbank's sustainability portfolio, and how the notions of sustainability have evolved over the decades, and how it will evolve in the future. So, Pia, I'm very happy that you joined me despite the windy and chilly weather, and then maybe before we start our in-depth discussion and talk, maybe you could tell a few sentences about yourself.
Yeah, great being here. I'm Pia Gisgård. I'm heading the Sustainability and Corporate Governance Department at Swedbank Robur, a team of 11 persons, which I would say makes us the largest team, at least in Sweden.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And how did you end up with this topic? Many find sustainability a bit boring or stale, but some people are very passionate about it. How did you end up in this specific theme of banking and asset management?
I'm actually a lawyer from the beginning, and when I started heading this team in 2020, I think that was also a bit at the same time where this area started to become regulated. So I think that the team, being biologists and economists, that they all said that it was good to have the legal angle in the team, because it is a lot of regulation coming, not at least from the EU on the topic.
I'm not sure if many of our clients know, but sustainability is like a key feature of asset management philosophy at Robur, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that and what role does sustainability and ESG play in Robur's investment philosophy.
Yes. Sustainability is core in everything that we do. We work with sustainability in all our asset classes and in all of our funds. And what does that mean? That means that we want the companies that we invest in, that they identify the sustainability risks and opportunities that they have and integrate that into their strategy.
Okay, and I think there's still a lot of myths and misunderstandings regarding sustainability, and a lot of misconceptions are that sustainability is only about paper cups or trees and things like that. Or maybe you could broaden our understanding of what sustainability and ESG indicators really are, and what are we looking for when we pick our companies for investments.
Definitely. No, but it's not about paper cups.
Yeah.
It's so much broader than that. And it's about having safety for your employees, for example. That's maybe when you talk about the S in environmental, social, and governance. And it's about resources, nature resources. It's about having efficient when it comes to water, or that you have a circular economy and circularity within your company, because everything virgin material, that's a cost. So you need to have a closed circular how you produce your products, for example.
Yeah, that's the key thing. I think sustainability is about probably about being able to continue this for a long time without degrading your environment. And any specific examples of how asset management can impact the industries and how we shape the companies that we invest in?
We do that in in engagement in so many different ways. One way is, of course, to vote at annual general meetings. In Sweden, we also sit in the nomination committees, and the nomination committees are the committee that proposes who's going to sit on the board of directors in the companies. But maybe foremost, we engage directly with the companies, and we do that alone, but we do that also with other investors. For example, in a quite new initiative, Nature Action 100, which is an initiative where the companies worldwide that have the largest impact on nature has been identified. And then a collaboration of investors meet with the companies, and out of those 100, we at Swedbank Robur, we engage with 4 of the companies, and then other investors engage with the others. So it's more, a win-win for both us as investors, how we use our resources, but also for the companies, that they meet, one group of investors that are engaging on behalf of a larger group. So it's time efficient also for the companies.
Very interesting. How do other stakeholders look at it? Sometimes I feel that corporations look at it as maybe some red tape that they have to cross, and do they see sustainability as something beneficial for them? And on the other hand, are clients excited about this, or do they care about the sustainability part of it? And is it like a point that attracts customers, or is it something that they are indifferent about?
But I think that is so important, that when we meet with a company, it's not about red tape. It's about something. Sustainability is something that is good for business. It's something that is gonna create a value for both the companies and then for us as shareholders. And when it comes to the clients, I think it's important, because most clients, of course you want to return, and that is the main thing that the mandate for us is to create return for our clients. But we want to do that in a way that we at the same time look at the climate, look at the nature, to labor rights, children's rights. And if you can do that at the same time, isn't that what you want to achieve with your investments?
Definitely, especially when you look at about the long term, maybe you can earn a good return in the short term, but at what cost? Right? What about, you mentioned returns, and I think that's a cynical investor would ask, am I not sort of putting myself at a disadvantage when I invest in something sustainable? I limit the universe where I can invest, and maybe that almost by definition brings me lower returns. What would you say to a cynic like that?
No, but I would say that when you look at the company, you look at the financials, of course, but isn't it natural also to look at what kind of opportunity and risks when it comes from sustainability, from climate or nature at the same time? And that gives you a better understanding of the companies. And just as you take a financial risk when you invest in a company, you will also take a sustainability risk, but you want to take that in a company where you see that they are actually working with those issues, and that this is something that will create a long-term value, both for the company and for us as investors.
Which sectors would you say are most exposed to sustainability risks that maybe we're not so immediately aware of?
But I think that you have different kinds of sustainability risks in all sectors. But of course, there are some high-risk sectors, mining sector, of course. But something that we work a lot with at the moment is also when it comes to the big tech companies, with how do they work with ethical AI? How do they work with human rights when it comes to their platforms?
It's much broader than just environmental protection.
It is so much broader. It's so much broader than that.
Very, very interesting, and I think news to many of investors. talking about evolving notions of ESG and then sustainability, I think one thing that has been very important for customers in the Baltics has been defense for a very long time. Defense industry has been sort of frowned upon within investment communities, similar to oil or other sort of dirtier industries. But now, since the events of 2022, our notions of what is socially sustainable in terms of defense industry, at least within society, has changed dramatically. And how did we see the same change in Sweden, and did it change our investment philosophy at Robur as well?
I would say that we have never, most of our funds have been able to invest in the defense industry, even before 2022. Of course, today, the investment opportunity is greater than it was a few years ago. But we have customers that don't want to be invested in the defense industry, and we have customers that want to. So we have products and funds for both of them. But we see that we are a lot more invested in the defense industry today than we were before 2022.
I think that's very reassuring to hear for many investors in the Baltics. One thing that also has been a lot of focus of a lot of debates, especially in the energy transition, was the role of nuclear energy in our energy package. And some countries are very pro-nuclear, others are very against nuclear. What's the Robur's position on this topic?
No, but I think that we need to have nuclear for the coming years, and that is something that we prefer in the energy mix than, for example, coal.
Yeah, definitely. Much better to have something nuclear than coal. And maybe a final question. The notions of sustainability have been evolving, and there have been a lot of geopolitical changes over the years, and then changing political winds in many continents. And the role of and focus on sustainability has been changing. It has been coming into focus, out of focus. Where do you see the future of this topic going? How it might evolve over time, and where are we going with?
For us, sustainability isn't a theme or a niche. We're working with sustainability in all our funds and integrated that into our strategy. And I think that now, when some people don't want to say ESG, it's a bit a toxic word. We hear that others start talking in the same way, that it's part of our strategy, it's good for business. That sustainability, if you look at it in a strategic manner, that is something that is going to create value for us as a company. So I think that maybe we are moving away from, talking about sustainability as standalone or ESG as standalone to becoming, part of the strategy, which is exactly where it should be. So
sustainability topic is becoming more sustainable, in a sense.
yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Good. Thank you very much for walking with me in this chilly morning in Stockholm. Thank you.
Thank you.